Hey crafty people, it's Tasha for Time for Tea Designs, and today I'm sharing some more inspiration for a clean, not so simple, but easy card. So I'll show you the products that I'm going to be using first. This is the Be Slothy stamp set. It is adorable. There's my beloved Paper Hugs sentiment die set, the inverted scallop frames die set, and the unbelievable stencil. I love the pun. So I'm just going to start off with the stencil. I'm just taping it to a piece of A2 Nina £80. So A2 is the US standard size, and it is 5.5 by 4.25 inches. So I'm taping it from the back so that I can have the design going right the way across the paper without having any tape or anything to block it off. So I've grabbed out a blender brush and a couple of shades of green ink from Ultinim. So I'm starting with the lightest of the two inks that I've got, and I'm just really gently, lightly adding some colour to the background. I don't want it to be too intense, I want it to be quite subtle, but obviously I do want you to be able to see that it's there. To add a little bit of contrast and just to give a bit more interest to the background, I'm shading a darker green at the very bottom. So I peeled it up and I decided that I wanted it a little bit more pronounced than it was. So without adding any more ink to my brush, I just popped the stencil back down and just went over it a little bit again, and I'm really happy with how that came out. So that is what's going to make the background to my card. In order for you not to have to sit and watch me colouring, I've stamped and coloured the images separately. I've got all of the Copic colours and everything on the blog. I don't have the die for that set, so I fussy cut them. I've then cut the largest of the inverted scallop frames. I cut that twice and stacked that on top of each other. Then I've also cut the Paper Hugs, the letters for the sentiment from Nina £80. I added those 3 times and stacked it up, and I've added it onto the shadow that I cut from vellum, and then I did stamp a sub-sentiment as well. Unfortunately, the first time I put this card together, the video did not record. It didn't work for whatever reason, I'm not sure, so I did have to cut the card apart and do it again. So that's why there are little bits of foam tape on the frame there. So I'm just adding my frame to my background. The cover dies from Time for Tea are to British standards, so it is sized differently than my background, but that's fine. I'm just going to trim that off once I know that it's dry. So I'm adding some dots of glue to the back of the Paper Hugs sentiment, being sure to only add glue where the white letters are, because it would show through the vellum really badly. And then I'm adding my cute little slothies. So I'd already decided what my layout was going to be. Some of them have got foam tape on already, foam squares, sorry. So I've just added foam squares where it needed to, and then in the places where any of the images overlap my sentiment, I've left the foam off there, because it is three die cuts high, so it is quite thick. So that's why I needed the foam on the other sections, and not on there. So I have the cute little Slothy holding his blanket at the bottom. I've got the adorable dude who's just like chilling out asleep on a branch across the top of my Paper Hug sentiment. So I wanted it to kind of look like the branch is like resting on the sentiment. And then the third one, I've got him hanging down to the side there. So I'm adding some black glaze pen to their noses. It's just like a glossy gel pen that dries with a little touch of dimension. I just think that it really makes a difference adding things like that. And the Let's Hang Out sentiment is from the Be Slothy stamp set. So there's my card for today. I hope that you like it. I hope that it gives you some inspiration of how you could make a card that's not so simple, because there's quite a lot of elements, but it is very clean looking because there's a lot of white space. If you like the video, then please give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed to our channel, then please do consider it. We share inspiration every week using wonderful Time for Tea Designs products. I hope you have a lovely, happy, safe, wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye!